Welcome back to the Pink Table. This is our second last episode on our review of the teams for this year's Serie A, and we're going to be taking a look at Spezia and Torino.
Yep, and the Serie A starts tomorrow, so let's take a look at that. Good morning and welcome back to the Pink Table. As we said, tomorrow the Serie A starts. We're very excited. We're going to be going to the San Siro to watch Inter Genoa. But before that, we have two more reviews of four more teams. So as Elaine mentioned, we're looking at Spezia and Torino. So Elaine, let's look at the Spezia side.
The Spezia team this year is going to be an interesting one. They've been able to add a couple of very interesting additions, if you ask me. They've put Zut in goal as a starter for this year. They've added Amjan on the right back position. And then the rest of the defense is pretty much looking like it was last year. Ismaili, Erlich, and Bastoni making up the rest of the defense. Erlich is a centre-back that I really like, and as we saw from Bastoni last year, on the right game, he's quite a serviceable player.
Yeah, and I think also midfield-wise, they still have Maggiore, which I was impressed they managed to keep, because I would have seen him linked to other teams. And then we have Senna and Kovalenko. But with that also being said, I think the biggest change in the Spezia side so far, also feel free to jump in there, but the fact of losing Italiano is a big change here. So they're going to have to change the entire gameplay. So it might cause a bit of friction at the beginning of the season.
So yeah, I think that the change of coach is probably going to impact slightly. But I would even argue and say that the biggest change this year, or the biggest addition, obviously the opposite direction of what you're saying, but I would say the inclusion of Kovalenko already into a very talented midfield. The player arrived from Shakhtar, and in my opinion, last year, Leo Senna was one of the best defensive midfielders in the league. His passing was phenomenal. His work rate was great. And I've got a funny feeling that Kovalenko might go and complete this midfield and make this team very exciting to watch. And then the attack, as you can see, we've got the striker blank right now. Generally, we would say Inzola slots in there, but he is being contended by a couple of other teams in Serie A. We don't know if he's going to start. I personally hope he stays, but he'll be supported by Jazzy and Verde from last year. I like Jazzy. What do you think of their striking setup?
Yeah, if Inzola stays, it's pretty good from last year. They showed a lot of good things. It all depends. Like Thiago Motta doesn't have a lot of experience as a coach, so I think it depends on what ideas he brings to the table here. Spezia were a revelation of last season. I wasn't expecting them to stay up in Serie A. I think that was a lot to do with Italiano's work, because sometimes like I remember Spezia beating Milan 2-0, and they played really well. Like I was really frustrated but impressed at the same time. So it all comes down to Thiago Motta. I think Spezia are going to struggle this year to stay up. I don't think they have the quality, the additional quality, and losing their main asset, which was Italiano. I think they're going to have some struggles this season.
Yeah, I think losing the coach is a bit of a blow, but the addition of a very good right back and a very good central midfielder, I would say that the team has overall improved. And I've got question marks over whether Zut is much better than Providel, but we'll see. So I think I would give them a slight improvement as long as Thiago Motta can keep the ship on the right course.
Yeah, Zut's also an interesting one. I think I went to go watch Milan PSV. It's a Champions League, and he was PSV's goalie. He was actually quite good then, but he's had quite a strange career in that aspect. But yeah, so we can give them an approval, but maybe a small approval. And then let's see how Thiago Motta goes. Maybe Thiago Motta brings great ideas to the table and the team actually booms. So let's see. But in my Serie A prediction table predictor, I don't think I'm going to rank Spezia very high.
And me neither. As much as I do give them the approval, I would say that they have improved. I honestly think that unless Thiago Motta can really get the team quite united, I think that Spezia is going to struggle not to drop down this year.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to Torino. Exciting stuff happening at Torino. They managed, the main thing here is they managed to bring in Ivan Juric from Verona, which I think is a good call. Last year they had Giampaolo. It was just, they've been, Torino, if you look at the player-wise, they have really good players. They just haven't been able to get it to that next level. And I think that's largely due to coaches. So hopefully Ivan Juric goes in there with the same discipline he showed at Verona and lifts that team to the next level. But in regards to the team, in goals, Sirigu has left. So now they have Milinkovic-Savic, which is actually the brother of Milinkovic-Savic of Lazio. So that's really interesting. It goes in the bloodline. And then in defense, we still have Buongiorno, Izzo, and Bremer. So it's a good defense. They're missing the likes of Nkolu leaving, being scartato, so he's a free agent right now, and also Janko pushing to leave Torino. Apparently, there is a conversation right now with a possible exchange of players with Udinese. So Janko going to Friuli and Beccao moving over to Torino. So that would be an interesting swap, but is it improving? I don't know about that. But what do you think about the defense? And then let's move into the midfield.
Yeah, so this Torino team, for many aspects, reminds me a lot of the Fiorentina team. It's a team with a lot of talented pieces that seems to be mismanaged over the last couple of seasons. And I'm really excited to see them this year with a good coach. This is one of the teams that I'm really expecting to punch above their weight. And I would expect this to be the Sassuolo of last season. I'm expecting them to push just outside of those Europa League spots and really hassle the big teams. The defense is good. Milinkovic-Savic, although he's been a reserve for a couple of years, when he has played, has looked steady. Expect the defense, the way we've got it lined up here, to be slightly inverted. You'll see Buongiorno out on the left, as he is actually a natural left back. But I like the defense. Izzo is physical, hardworking. He is prone to some lapses, but I like him as a defender. And Bremer as well is a very solid, hardworking defender. So I like the defense and goalkeeper. The midfield, made up of Lukic and Mandragora, is hardworking. They've got talent when they've got the ball at their feet. They can launch that long ball. And with Singo on one side and Ola Aina on the other, they've got lots of legs and very good. They're going to be an interesting team on the counter-attack, which is just how Juric likes it.
Yeah, and Singo was linked to a lot of other teams, and I'm very happy that they were able to hold on to Singo. So that was great. I think he's shows a lot of talent and a lot of room to grow there. So moving into up front. So there's a few question marks here. Also moving, I think it might be injury focused, but the first game of the season this weekend, Belotti will not be starting. So there might be question marks. Is he staying? Is he leaving? But right now, as is today, they have two men behind Belotti, which is Piazza, which they just brought over from Torino, and Sanabria.
Torino.
From Juventus. Well, it's in Torino, so over from Torino. Piazza, Sanabria, up front we have El Gallo. So I like this attack. If the rest of the team produce, I think this attack can bring a lot of rewards, and a lot of milestones will be hit with this attack.
Juric likes good attacking teams, and if you go and take a look at each one of these players individually, you've got a lot of talent. Piazza at one point was touted as one of the best talents in Europe for his age. Sanabria grew up in the Barcelona youth ranks, was purchased by Roma. He's sort of moved around Europe since then, but has consolidated himself since coming back to Italy in the last couple of years between Genoa and Torino. And then, of course, you've got Il Gallo Belotti. Like you say, is he going to be a Torino player this year? I have the feeling he will be. And if these three can click the way that they should be able to, this Torino team is going to be devastating in attack. And with the service coming from Ola Aina and Singo, I think this is going to be a very exciting team. Maybe they could do with another centre-back. And as you said, Rodrigo Beccao might just be perfect for that.
Yep. So to be honest, with the addition of the coach, I'm inclined to give Torino a stamp of approval, because I think they will be doing better than last year.
Yeah, I agree fully. If there was a scale on which to say how a team is going to improve, I would imagine that this is going to be our greatest improved team from last season.
Okay, fantastic.
If you haven't already, please take a chance to like and subscribe to this channel, like the video. We've got all of the other teams done in other videos, so feel free to go check those out. And we will see you shortly with the last piece of this segment that will be looking at Udinese and Venezia.